So you can see it. So I think the most important thing I wanted to talk about was macros. I can kind of hear you, like you're kind of cutting in and out, but I can kind of hear you a little bit.
Oh,
Yeah, so I guess I can start with talking about macros. So as you probably know, I am a macros coach. So what macros are, we can break it down. We have the three different types of macronutrients. We have proteins, carbs, and fats. Every piece of food that you eat, that you consume, that you buy, everything is going to have either proteins, carbohydrates, fats, along with micro ingredients, which are like your minerals and vitamins and minerals. So it's good to know that protein and carbs both have 4 calories for every 1 gram. So if you eat 1 gram of a protein source, it's going to have 4 calories. And then for fats have 9 calories per 1 gram. So fats have more than double the amount of calories that protein and carbohydrates do. When I coach my clients, when I coach them through macros, I always recommend a lower fat diet, especially if the goal is weight loss, because it's super easy to overeat on fats, to consume too many calories when you're eating a lot of fats, because fats have double the amount of calories. So I always recommend a diet that's going to be higher in proteins and carbs. So that way you can eat more food in terms of volume, right? Because 1 gram of protein and carbs is only 4 calories, whereas 1 gram of fats is 9 calories. So let's say you're eating 5 grams of rice. That's a really small amount. But just for the example, 5 grams of rice is going to be 20 calories, whereas 5 grams of a fat source, so we'll say peanut butter, is going to be, what's 5 times 9? 40,
5.
45?
Porra.
45. Yeah. So it's a lot easier to overeat in calories when the calories are coming from a fat source, as opposed to when they're coming from a carb or a protein source. Does that make sense? Does anyone have any questions? No, I think there's just 2 of you guys here. Any questions? Nope. All right. Moving on. Okay, so counting macros. So that's what macros are. Counting macros is different. Well, it's the same thing, but counting them is a different process. So when you use an app to record your food, most apps are going to count the macros for you. So you don't have to sit down and like write out each source and all that kind of stuff and do your own math. An app should do it for you. A few apps that I like are MyFitnessPal. That's a pretty common one. There's another one called Lose It, which I like. The app that I use to coach my clients calculates the macros for you. That app is called Trainerize. And then I coach my clients through my own link within Trainerize. So when you're counting macros, how that's going to work is however many grams or ounces or pounds or cups, whatever the measurement you use to log, it's going to multiply that by either the 4 calories for carbs or proteins or the 9 calories for fats. So the app will know automatically what macronutrients are inside that piece of food. So let's take an example of peanut butter. If you're going to eat 5 grams of peanut butter, You're going to log it into the app. The app is going to know how many calories per gram of each of the macronutrients. So 5 grams of fat is going to log 45 calories. So you're always going to multiply the grams by either 4 or 9, depending on if it's a carbohydrate or a protein source, or if it's a fat source. Does that make sense? So you multiply your grams by 4 if it's a protein, you multiply your grams by 4 if it's a carb, and then you multiply your grams by 9 if it's a fat. And that, whatever that equals, is the total amount of calories. So there's the example right here. 30 grams of carbs times 4, because there's 4 calories per every 1 gram. That's going to equal 120 calories. So let's say you're eating oatmeal, and oatmeal has 30 grams of carbs. 120 calories of that oatmeal is going to come from carbohydrates. Now, that might not be the total carbohydrate. That might not be the total calories in the item. That's just the total calories of carbohydrates. So let's say the item that you're eating, let's go back to peanut butter. If peanut butter has 5 grams of fat, right? That's going to be 45 calories from fats. But peanut butter also has protein in it. So let's say it has 5 grams of protein. You're going to do 5 times 4, which is 20. So 20 calories come from protein. So you're going to get a total amount of calories for each macronutrient. And then those combined is the total calories for the food item. Again, you don't have to think about logging each of those separately. When you log one piece of food, it's going to automatically count the total amount of calories. I'm just breaking it down further so that like you guys understand, but you don't have to do that math. The app will do it for you. You guys have any questions about that? I know that that was a lot of numbers. Does it matter what you eat for weight loss? Okay, so weight loss is a calorie deficit. A calorie deficit, we're going to get there. Okay, calorie deficit, calorie ranges. So you have 3 different calorie ranges. So the first one is maintenance. So you're not trying to lose or gain weight, but you're remaining the same weight. Cut is trying to lose weight by consuming fewer calories than you burn. That's what a calorie deficit is. So if you burn 1,000 calories a day, that's not a good example. If you burn 2,000 calories a day, you want to eat less than 2,000 calories. So that way you're losing weight. Does that conversion make sense? So you want to give off more energy than what you consume. So if you give off 2,000 calories a day, you want to eat less than 2,000 calories. So that way you lose weight. If you want to maintain weight, stay the same weight, then you're going to eat the same amount of calories that you put out. So if you burn 2,000 calories, then you're going to eat 2,000 calories. So it's an even exchange. What you put out is what you put in. Then you'll stay the same. If you're trying to bulk, gain weight, or gain muscle, then you want to consume more calories than what you burn. So if you burn 2,000 calories a day, then you want to consume more than 2,000 calories so that way you can put on weight. In terms of specific foods for weight loss, if you're just thinking about weight loss in general, it doesn't really matter what you eat as long as you stay below a calorie deficit. So, Stacy, if you burn, let's say 1,400 to 1,500 calories a day at rest. So if you laid in bed all day, you would probably burn about 1,400 calories. Now, add on top of that, if you work out, how many calories do you burn when you work out? So let's say you burn, I'm going to type this in the chat so it's easier. 1,400 calories per day at rest, plus, let's say you work out and you burned 250 calories from working out. And then let's say at work, let's say you walk at work and you get 10,000 steps while you're at work. That's probably another 500 calories that you burned that day at work. That's going to be the total amount of calories that you burn for the day. So every single day, your baseline is always going to be 1,400 calories. So you always burn for 1,400 calories every day. This is just a guess. This is usually what most women burn per day. So these aren't exact numbers, but this is a good starting point. So 1,400 calories every single day. You have to eat at least 1,400 calories per day. Because if you laid in bed all day, that's how many you would burn. Then if you work out that day, you'll add 250 calories. So now we're at 1,650 calories for the day that you burned. If you worked that day, let's say you hit 10,000 steps, or if you have an Apple Watch and it tells you how many calories you burned throughout the day, then you're going to add that to that 1,650. So let's say normal day of work, you walked 10,000 steps and you burned 500 calories. Add 500 calories. So your total output for the day is going to be 2,150. So 2,000 total daily output is 2,150 calories. Okay. Now, if you want to lose weight, you need to eat less than 2,150 calories. If you want to maintain your weight, you eat 2,150 calories. And if you want to gain weight, then you eat more than 2,150 calories. Does that make sense? Was that helpful? Okay, cool. Good. In terms of what you eat, so if you're staying in a calorie deficit, then you're going to lose weight. Now, the question is body composition. So if you want to lose weight and remain the same, like keep the same body, but with less weight, then it doesn't really matter what you eat. But if you want to change your body composition, so build muscle, burn fat, then it does matter what you eat. So this is some recommendations for products that I use. So I also have some grocery lists. So for protein, some good sources of protein, I'm sure you already know, chicken, ground turkey, something that's going to be above 90% lean. Any type of fish, white fish is usually the best. Beef, again, something that's greater than 90% lean. Egg whites or eggs, Greek yogurt, cottage cheese, salmon, another fish. Are you vegetarian? If you're vegetarian, obviously these things will change. Okay, you eat meat. Awesome. Then if you eat meat, it should not be difficult to get protein sources in because you're not limited to just vegetarian protein sources. I would make these the basis of your diet. So every single meal, you want to have a protein source. Every single meal, breakfast, you can have egg whites, eggs, Greek yogurt, cottage cheese, ground turkey, sausage. Sausage is a little bit fattier. Lunch, chicken, ground beef, regular beef, turkey, eggs, salmon, fish, same thing with dinner. So always have a protein source in your meals, even if it's a snack on something that's a protein source. So it could be a protein shake, yogurt, a protein bar, a smoothie, peanut butter, nuts, jerky, something that has a protein source. Every single time that you eat, make sure you consume protein. That's number one. Second most important is going to be carbs. A lot of things are made up of carbs. Fruits have carbs, vegetables have carbs, starches have carbs, breads, pasta, anything flour-based, wheat-based is carbs. So vegetables, eat as many as possible. Eat as many as possible. Eat vegetables all day. Literally anytime you can get in vegetables, get in vegetables. Rice or pasta, a good recommendation I would make, I'm not sure what you eat now, but if you eat white rice, just regular pasta, white bread, I recommend switching that to a whole wheat version. Whole wheat is digested a lot easier and it's a low glycemic carb. So we're able to break it down and use it more effectively, and it lasts longer in our bodies than a high glycemic carb, which are all of the white starches. So like white rice, white pasta, white bread. So I recommend making those few switches of whites to wheats or sprouted. Another recommendation, if you love pasta, is the Banza pasta, which is the chickpea based pasta. It's a little bit harder to cook. You have to cook it right, because if you don't cook it right, it's not as good. But if you do cook it right, if you follow the box and the instructions, it's very good. In terms of not vegetables, fruits, I recommend eating fruits all day, as many as possible, just like with vegetables. But also realize that these are a carb source and vegetables are a carb source. So you don't want to just be eating vegetables or just be eating fruit. You want to incorporate protein in there as well. High glycemic carbs, like I said, white rice, pasta, white bread. These, if you're going to eat them, so like an example of a fruit that's a high glycemic fruit, apples, oranges, super acidic. Eat these either right before or right after you work out, because a high glycemic carb gets broken down very quickly and gets used very quickly. So if you eat it right before a workout, it's going to help fuel that workout. If you eat it right after a workout, it's going to help replenish what you just worked out. That's a good thing. But majority of your carb sources should be low glycemic, which is this stuff up here. And the last part is fats. I would say limit your fat consumption. Like I said in the beginning, it's really easy to overeat in calories if you're eating a lot of fats. So a good rule of thumb that I like to stick to is to choose one fat source for the day. So for one meal. So if I'm going to eat avocado toast with eggs for breakfast, then I'm not going to put in a fat source at lunch and dinner, because I had my main fat source at breakfast. So don't eat. Well, I don't want to say don't eat, but limit the amount of fats that you eat. And the easiest way to do that is to limit the amount of times you eat it throughout the day. So if you eat avocado at breakfast, cheese at lunch, and then like butter or another like olive oil, another fat source for dinner, you're going to add up so many fat calories for the day, when you can just limit those fat calories by just picking one meal that you're going to add a fat source to. So maybe you like Mexican food and you like to put cheese on your Mexican bowl or burrito or tacos and avocado. Limit those fat sources to that one meal. So don't eat avocado breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Don't eat cheese breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Just pick one meal of the day that you're going to incorporate that in. That's the easiest way to limit the fat consumption. The last thing I wanted to talk about with nutrition is just some recommendations. For yogurt, I like to eat the Oikos Pro. It has a lot of protein. And then if you add protein on top of this, so this is 25 grams of protein just in a serving of yogurt. If you add a scoop of protein, which is usually 20 to 25 grams, that's already 50 grams. And if you have that for breakfast, that's probably about a third of the amount of protein you should be eating throughout the day. So if you eat 3 meals, you set yourself up perfectly to hit your protein goal for the day, as long as you continue to eat protein in the other meals. A good substitute for peanut butter, because peanut butter has a lot of fats. A lot of calories. It does have a lot of fats too, but this is a lower calorie option for protein. For peanut butter. The powdered peanut butter. So PB2 is a good brand. They also have a few other brands you can look up. But if you love peanut butter, like I love peanut butter, but can't afford to eat that many calories from peanut butter, then try the powdered peanut butter. It's going to limit your calories for the day. Some granola bars, protein bars that I like are these Bear Bells bars. They have pretty good macros. They have 20 to 25 grams of protein, 20 to 25 grams of carbs, and pretty low on fats. And they taste really good. They taste like candy bars. This is a recommendation I have for bread. So like I said, if you're eating white bread, I recommend switching to whole grains or sprouted, something with seeds, something more natural and a low glycemic carb. White bread is a high glycemic carb. This is a good brand that I like. And then these sauces, G. Hughes sauces is a life hack. They are low in calories. They're sugar-free. They're usually pretty low in fats. So I suggest if you're looking for a sauce, because let's say, food gets boring, I recommend picking a sauce that is low in fats, low in sugars. If it's low in fats and low in sugars, it's probably going to be lower in calories. And remember, if the goal is weight loss, then you want to consume less calories. You guys have any questions? We're looking at sodium. Sodium, it's important, yes, but it shouldn't be the basis of your decision. Reasons why you want to limit your sodium is because the more sodium you eat, the more water you'll retain. So that could be causing maybe an extra 5 to 8 pounds that you're holding on to. That's water weight, because you're consuming a lot of salt. But general weight loss, consuming less salt isn't necessarily going to make a huge impact. But the most important thing is to eat less calories. Any other questions? Do any of you guys track your food now? Log the food that you eat? No. Have you ever tried to log the food that you eat? Do you know where to start? Not good at tracking. Why not? Why aren't you good at tracking? What do you think makes it difficult? Try. So it's a lot of work if you don't prepare. If you prepare your meals in advance, and you keep your meals simple, it's not that hard. What makes it difficult is when you wait till the end of the day, or if you try to do it during the day when you're busy, you're going to forget to do it. You're going to get lazy. You're not going to do it. What I recommend is to log your food the night before or on a Sunday. Log your food on a Sunday and just eat the same thing Monday through Friday, so that way you don't have to log every single day. So on Sunday, pick out what you want to eat for breakfast, what you want to eat for lunch, what you want to eat for dinner, and what you want to eat for a snack, or however many meals you eat throughout the day. Stick to that same thing Monday through Friday, and then you only have to track once. You just have to track once. Like, you just have to track one day, and then if you stick to those foods Monday through Friday, you track for the whole week, and it probably took you 10 to 15 minutes. Also, if you don't prioritize the time to log your food, then yes, it is difficult to track your food. But I would say always prepare yourself, and it'll make tracking easier. Also, tracking gets easier when you have less ingredients in your meals. So a switch that I made, because I was like, this is getting a lot to track, I would make this bowl, like a Mexican bowl. So I'd put rice, beans, ground beef, salsa, avocado, cheese, mango, cilantro, like so many different things in the bowl. And it would get a lot to track because there was like 10 different ingredients. So I limited it. I only now do rice, beef, salsa, maybe beans. So that's only 4 ingredients. 4 ingredients is a lot easier to track than 10 to 12. Does that help? It's not the easiest. It's easy to do if you prioritize it, but I understand that it gets tedious. But yes, keep your meals as simple as possible, and you'll make it easier for yourself. Simple meals and repeat meals. So if you're eating something different every single day, then you're going to take that much more time to log your food every single day. So pick a meal that you like, that you could eat for 4 or 5 days straight, and that'll make it much easier for yourself. And then the following week, you can change it. You could switch it up. Any questions? No questions. Okay. Well, that was what I had to talk about with nutrition. If you guys don't have any other questions, then we can stop there. Thank you guys for coming, for listening. Send me a message on Instagram. I'm sure that's how you found this link, or Facebook. Let me know if you have any questions, or I'll stick around for a minute if you wanted to ask any at the end. But other than that, I hope you guys have an amazing rest of your Sunday,